Hello friends, this is Sam Cheney reporting for UpandEyesNews.com. Today's April 29th, 2017. And back in the 1970s, a consensus of, quote, scientific experts said that we were going through global cooling. And now more recently, a consensus of, quote, scientific experts say we're going through global warming. And when these things don't come to fruition, they've now changed it to climate change. I don't deny that the climate changes. I don't think anyone does. But we have to continue to put up with this garbage of being called a climate change denier, akin to a Holocaust denier, to being called someone who wants dirty air, water, and the planet, right? Today was the People's Climate March, drawing massive crowds in Washington, D.C. and around the world on President Trump's 100th day in office. Okay, so once again, I don't deny that the climate does change, but let's take a look. First, real quick, EPA removes climate change page from website. Bravo, because even, let's just say, for the sake of argument, which I don't agree with, but I'll concede the point, CO2 emissions cause global warming, and that's causing climate change, and we're all going to die because of that. It's going to cause catastrophes across the world, raising sea levels, erratic weather, and whatnot. Let's just say that CO2 levels are causing that. Rising CO2 levels, man-made, caused by man, anthropogenic global warming, as it's called. Let's say all that's true. They want to tax us in the United States for our carbon emissions, when the rest of the world, fastly industrializing countries, developing countries like China and India, to name two, don't face these same type of regulations. And so we here in the West are bad, and we have to pay this carbon tax to, amongst others, Al Gore, his climate tax, carbon tax company named Blood and Gore. It's completely and utter ridiculous, and it's a complete and utter fraud. Let me go through, before I report on the climate change march that happened today, let's go through a little bit of background about the Club of Rome. Okay, the Club of Rome is a global think tank that deals with a variety of international issues, including the world economic system, climate change, and environmental degradation. And who was the founder of the Club of Rome? David Rockefeller. Big-time globalist eugenicist, believes in population control, wants you and your family dead. What does the Club of Rome say? They say, in searching for a new enemy to unite us, we came up with the threat of global warming. The common enemy of humanity is man. In searching for a new enemy to unite us, we came up with the idea that pollution, the threat of global warming, water shortages, famine, and the like would fit the bill. All these dangers are caused by human intervention, and it is only through changed attitudes and behaviors that they can be overcome. The real enemy then is humanity itself. And that's the premier environmental think tank consulting the United Nations. What is never mentioned? Oh, and then another little history lesson flashback. ClimateGate 2.0. Remember all these scientific experts, the scientists that agree that climate change needs to be dealt with, global warming, then their emails were hacked. Remember that? And it came out that they were lying to us about all this stuff. Continuing. Never mentioned in the climate change debate, geoengineering. This article out of The Guardian. They want to blame President Trump. This geoengineering chemtrail spraying has been going on for 20 or more years. Trump's presidency opens door to planet hacking geoengineering experiments. Give me a break. It's been going on for 20 plus years. You can see it right here. From this scientist, David Keith. This is the MIT Technology Review. Harvard scientists moving ahead on plans for atmospheric geoengineering experiments. The climate researchers intend to launch a high-altitude balloon that would spray a small quantity of reflective particles into the stratosphere. This is the mad scientist right here, Harvard professor David Keith. Here's a graphic of it from Harvard Magazine. They're going to spray, which they're already doing, geoengineering, terraforming the planet, shooting sulfate particles to reflect the sunlight. Okay, it's completely and utterly ridiculous. And they will say, oh, it's Donald Trump that's behind it, his administration. They've been doing it again for over 20 years, this geoengineering. Okay, they're rolling it out right now, publicly announcing it to acclimate us to accept it as a reasonable means to combat climate change. Another layer of fraud. Again, they've been doing it for 20 plus years. Okay, go outside and look up on a clear day, and you can tell the difference between their stratospheric geoengineering, their chemtrail spraying, and a plane that is emitting contrails, quote, contrails, ice crystals. They dissipate shortly after the plane. There's video evidence all over the internet. And the chemtrail planes, the stratospheric aerosol spraying geoengineering planes, they lay out a haze, as in this graphic, that blocks the sun to supposedly save us from climate change, from global warming, from the sun warming. When they got caught in this climate gate debacle, exposing all the fraud, they were lying about the temperatures, lying about everything. They changed, they rebranded, with help from these guys, the Club of Rome, the head globalist, eugenicist, population control guys. They rebranded global warming movement to climate change movement. And now they say if you're against it, you're a climate change denier, and somehow that's akin to being a Holocaust denier, and you are pure evil and want the planet dead. Again, when they make no mention of the geoengineering that's been going on for 20 plus years. Now they're trying to blame Trump and his administration for it. Right here, completely and utterly ridiculous. Okay. Continuing, the march today now. Climate march. Never mentioned, not one of these people mentions the chemtrails, the geoengineering that's going on. The man-made, if man, I agree, man is manipulating the climate. And a major part of it are these chemtrails. Climate march draws massive crowd to DC in sweltering heat. Let's go through their hashtag climate march on Twitter. There's a lot of people showed up. I wish all these people would look into geoengineering, look into the fraud that is carbon tax. Here's video from it. It's a lot of people that showed up there. You know? Hey, I want to save the earth too. I don't want dirty air, water, and food and soil. Here's more marches. This one looks out of Canada. Climate justice, really? I mean, what a loaded term that is. Continuing. Massive march here. But these are all these left-wingers that hate Trump. Now they want to say environmental racism is toxic. So now the radical left-wingers are trying to somehow link pollution to racism. Continuing. And they have their resist, we build, we rise. They build nothing. Okay? They build nothing. And they come up with bogus statistics. They pull it out of thin air. 7 million people die each year due to air pollution from burning fossil fuels. Have you seen China? They can't even. It's like, it's the worst smog you've ever seen. Okay? In these developing, industrializing, developing countries. China, India. But they want to bitch about the U.S. trying to have some type of economy. It's completely and utterly ridiculous. Continuing. Here's some more photos. Yeah, Trump. There's Trump. Or Pruitt, the head of the EPA. Pruitt, the polluter. Of course, Trump put him in there. Yeah, he's a big polluter. He hates breathing clean air. Another one of these signs. Environmental racism is real. Another video of that march. Here's the San Diego climate march. Pruitt, you lie. And of course we know that there's always a bunch of garbage left behind by these environmentalists. Hey, I'm an environmentalist too, but I've done my research and I know that the Club of Rome, the United Nations, who believe in population control, want you dead. They want deindustrialization, part of Agenda 21, Agenda 2035. They want us living in mud huts and so poor that we can't go do these type of protests, and they want us dead. So they don't even have to deal with us at all. And they're using fake environmentalism, global cooling, global warming, climate change as a means to that end. Wake the hell up, people. Wow, they're geoengineering the planet. You have these celebrities out there, DiCaprio and Mark Ruffalo. Man, I wish these guys would wake up. Continuing on the Twitter, here's some more signs. The war on climate change is being fought on our plates. These are vegans against climate change. Factory farming. I mean, I agree with some of this stuff. I don't like factory farming. I don't like the emissions, dirty emissions. I don't want to breathe dirty air. Some more video from the marches here. Today, I don't know where this one's from. Some audio on it. Thirst doesn't have 4 years to spare. I mean, when did Al Gore come out with his Inconvenient Truth video, like 15 years ago or something? And nothing's happened. Okay, we're supposed to be dead by now, according to Al Gore. And they just keep with the fear-mongering propaganda. Here's a good tweet right here. People who privately fly, live in gated communities, have armed security, preach about the environment, and tell us walls/guns equal bad. That's a great tweet right here because it's the truth. These people are complete and utter hypocrites. They're completely ridiculous. Any climate event, a storm, a hurricane, a tornado, an earthquake, a volcano erupting, doesn't matter. It's all because of our carbon emissions, according to these people. Complete and utter baloney. Okay, here's Indivisible, the big anti-Trump group, left-wingers, paid agitators. They don't give a damn about the environment. They're paid agent provocateurs to cause destabilization in this country. I mean, this Twitter hashtag climate march goes on for days and days and days. I'm sure you can imagine. But I'm going to wrap up this report by saying, look into geoengineering. And I agree that the climate does change and it is man-made, but not because of the reasons that the Club of Rome, the United Nations, and the rest of these communist left-wing scumbags are selling to us. So do your own research. Subscribe to this channel. Speak out and take action.